Hi, Shantelle.
Hi, Mukami. I am literally so excited because this is something we've been talking about, and finally, the day is here.
Man, we did it! Welcome everyone to the Send Her Off podcast. We're finally getting together and doing it. Tell everyone a bit about what we are up to.
No, but essentially, it's just the two lovely women here to speak about sports. So, of course, like football, track and field at some point, F1, because we're huge F1 fans. So, it's just, I wouldn't even call, is it a safe space? I want to say it's a safe space, but also not a safe space if you're not ready for the opinions that we're about to dish. And essentially, I have the power to send Mukami off, like give her a red card if her take doesn't make sense. To be vice versa. And of course, we welcome you as well. In the comments, you can tell us if you're sending one of us off, if you're giving us a red card with, well, for a take that you might not agree with. And Mukami, I mean, we have to get started today because something happened that I feel like we have a lot to speak about.
Yeah, honestly, this podcast would have been further down the road if it wasn't for yesterday's decision. I was sitting down, busy minding my own business. Arsenal 2-0 up against Bayer Leverkusen in the Champions League on the way to a quadruple. CAF hits us upside the head with the craziest decision. Morocco are apparently the African Cup of Nations champions, and they beat Senegal 3-0. Who knew? What were your thoughts about all of this?
First of all, when I first saw it, I was like, maybe this is some AI generated crap because the internet is filled with a lot of fake news and all of that. But more and more, I started seeing credible sources, and I'm like, wait, no way. But for me, bottom line, it was just like, this is embarrassing because for years, AFCON have been fighting to be considered as a serious tournament, and a result and decision like this doesn't really help the case because what we're seeing now is that the better team on the night, it didn't matter because in the end, governance won, and it's annoying. It's Honestly, if I was Senegalese, I would probably be outside screaming, but I am not, and I still want to scream, because I'm like, this feels like injustice. And I know that person will be like, oh, rules are rules, but I still believe that those rules are debatable because it makes no sense. And of course, persons are like, okay, once Senegal walked off, the moment they walked off, they stopped competing and they started violating tournament laws. And you
Mm,
could even go on to say that, you know, there are different rules in place that could sanction what could happen, but I feel like the decision, it just doesn't make sense.
no. Chantal, we're sending the whole CAF appeal board home because I'm a lawyer. So I was like, which rules are these that they're saying they're breaking? I Googled, I was like, Article 84. And the crazy thing is, Article 84, they've misinterpreted it intentionally to try
hmm
and
I
push
feel like
this
it was
narrative.
misapplied as well.
Yeah,
Yes.
because the whole point of that article is that if you forfeit the game, like you walk off and forfeit the game, then the other team gets the result and they get a 3-0 victory.
hmm
And,
Exactly.
there's been a situation, this has happened in the CAF Champions League.
But they
With
came
that,
back.
no, exactly. But Wydad walked off because they were like, there's no VAR, the decision is not going away. They walked off. And in that situation, they didn't come back. Morocco got
hmm
awarded the penalty. What are they talking about?
hmm
They played the penalty, they missed it.
hmm
Senegal continued. A full 90 minutes was played, and they're now trying to, it's like you're making a decision that happened on the pitch. You're essentially stripping what football is all about.
hmm
And that's the thing that is crazy. And that rule is if you forfeit the game. Senegal protested for 15 minutes. They came back. Everyone was fine. If the referee called off the game when they'd walked off, fine, give Morocco the title. But now they played. Like, what? I'm still gobsmacked, but for me, that's
No, because
it's just embarrassing.
no, it is embarrassing and like, cause like when I was trying to make sense of it, because persons kept citing, okay, Article 82, it says this and it says that, right? But from my understanding, and you even said it just now, the fact that they were allowed back on the pitch and then Morocco they happily finished the game, they played as well. The match ended in a very natural format. I mean, we saw the extra
And
time,
then,
everything, it ended.
they
So it's like,
celebrated.
I don't
There was a bus
understand the
parade.
ruling.
I'm
I
like,
don't
okay, how do they
understand.
want this to work? I'm like, because people, when there's a bus parade, everyone is celebrating. It's like you can't take away the celebrations, honestly. And then, deep down, everyone will know
Hmm.
all of this was a hoax.
Hmm.
What was the point of all of this? And why people have a big problem with this? When you look at that decision, it's really horrible. But where the conspiracy theories
Yeah.
start coming in is the fact that on top of handing Morocco the title, they reduced the fines and the punishments for the Moroccan players. So Ismail, with the whole towel incident, his fine was removed and
Hmm. Oh.
the ban was reduced to 1 game. The ball boys, it went down from, I think it was 200,000
Hmm.
to like 50,000. Like everything that was against Morocco has been reduced. And then Senegal, who already got fines, because this is the thing, they have paid. They protested, the disciplinary board met, and they were like, you guys, that was wrong. Here are your fines. So now, honestly, I'm just gobsmacked. And I think for me, as an African, we're so embarrassed. Like it's so embarrassing. And they're not beating the corruption allegations when something like this happens.
Yeah.
And as Moroccan fans, in fact, I would love to hear from Moroccan fans, people from Morocco. Are you content with this?
No, the thing is, I've seen like, TikToks, I've seen Twitter, and I'm like, this is shameless behavior to be celebrating in this manner when, there were already allegations that the competition is rigged, and you've literally just listed everything that we could use to even support these allegations as well. So I feel like if any Moroccan player, hear me out, actually accepts this trophy and just like it's just shameless behavior to me. It's shameless
You
behavior
know,
because I don't think it was deserved. Like the match, I don't care about CAF rulings or whatever. The match ended with Senegal winning in extra time. What happened on the pitch? I just can't believe that we're actually here saying that discipline, decided the champions. The rule book decided the champions and not what
and even
actually
them not
happened on the
applying
pitch.
the
And
rule
things like that, I feel like it
correctly.
will ruin the sports.
Yeah, you can't trust anything. You can't, like, anyone can make any decision.
Exactly.
You know what is so funny? In like one of the WhatsApp groups I'm in, they were like, that's why Hakimi's playing so well. He's like, he knew something was happening. He's like, we're African champions.
I'm just so surprised that we watched 120 minutes thinking that the story ended. But
Yeah,
legally, it only just began. Like,
they're
who
wasting our
knew
time.
what was coming in 2 months?
They've just wasted
It
our
makes
time.
no sense. And again, it's sad because thank you. Imagine you celebrated. Of course, the emotions behind all that. Just 2 months later, you're hearing that you're being
And
stripped of
I
it.
was so happy they protested against that because it was so
Hmm.
clear that they were guiding Morocco into this amazing that they've not won. The last time they won was how 2040. I think it was like a crazy amount of years. They've hosted the perfect tournament. They can now lift the champion. Like they were really trying to write that script and it just didn't work. And now they're trying to force it. And the good thing is Senegal has options. They mentioned that they're going to appeal,
Hmm.
and there is a
Hmm.
very strong likelihood
Yes.
that CAS members have their wits about them and will make the right decision. Because this isn't the first time that CAF has made a decision that the Court of Arbitration for Sports has overruled. Like, let me tell you the last time that they did this. So in 2019, was it 2019? Morocco was supposed to host the tournament. I'll get the year right. But they withdrew as hosts. It was 2015 because it was about Ebola. So Morocco said we're going to withdraw as host because we're afraid of Ebola and West African countries coming in with it. And CAF was so mad. And they were like, you know what, you guys have broken the rules. We're going to fine you 9 million shillings and you're never going to take part in the African Cup of Nations for the next two editions. And like that was what they imposed on Morocco. And of course, they went to CAS and they reversed that decision because they were like, that's disproportionate. Your punishment is disproportionate to their action. So it feels like that could now work against Morocco. It's like it's very disproportionate that because players were off the pitch for 15 minutes, you're going to invalidate the
Mm-hmm.
entire 120 minutes plus the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, that got them to that point. They've been punished already, which is the fines.
Exactly.
So it makes sense that once this
Mm-hmm.
goes to CAS, it's going to be reversed, but the brand damage and reputation is just so crazy. You know, I was looking at Senegal. Puma have already printed the shirts. So this shirt behind me, I got before they became the champions in 2019. So it doesn't have any stars. But now they got their first star. So Puma have already
Yeah.
printed out the second star and they've been selling the merchandise. What do you want them to do? Like, think two steps ahead.
Exactly. No, I was saying going back to what you're saying, like that was like one of my biggest issues with this. Like, of course, persons like, oh, rules are rules. But not only is it misapplied, but you can't disregard the entire tournament. What happened in the game as well. I don't care. It wasn't forfeited. It was delayed. They didn't, it's not like they didn't finish the match. They did. And then to overturn the trophy based on a rule that you clearly didn't do well in the court with, because to me, what the decision was, it doesn't make sense. And then no, you touch a very brilliant point. Branding. And then how it will look like on the overall competition as well. And of course, we've had this conversations, well, several times where how it is viewed, where European coach don't even want African players in their squad because, the timing of when AFCON is held. So you can imagine this now, they're like, oh, what's the point of even going when 2 months later a decision could be
Mhm.
made where you're not even the champions anymore. It just doesn't look good.
I'm glad like Senegal came out really strong, of course, they would, that they're going to appeal the decision. I think one of the most important things they need to do is stay their execution, which essentially is do not award the trophy yet until you make the decision. If they can get that in writing from CAS, like, okay, before Morocco is handed over the title, this decision first has to happen. Because you can imagine if CAF do it again and they hand Morocco the title,
Hmm.
however that ceremony is going to go, and then CAS reverses that decision, will Senegal now go and be handed the title again? It's all just
No, it's so crazy because it's one big mess. It's literally one big mess. Literally, when court decisions are made, of course, the media is going to get nosy and release some sort of information. But personally, if this could happen where no one knew that this decision was made, and then at least give Senegal a chance to appeal it quietly before all of this comes out, because just save the competition and CAF the embarrassment.
because for Morocco, of course, in terms of the football development, they're the most advanced in Africa. And I feel like they're reacting because the Women's African Cup of Nations, Morocco withdrew as host like 5 days to the tournament. It was like all the teams were already in Morocco about to start the tournament, and
Hmm.
then they withdrew. And this was just a few weeks ago. So I'm thinking, like Kafa, like, gosh, okay, they've taken the whole tournament away from us. We need to find a way to appease them because there were already rumors that they weren't going to host. So Morocco are yielding this power of like, no, you guys didn't treat us fairly, so you're not going to use our pitches. You're not allowed to come to our country, and unless you make things right. So this is CAF trying to make things right, but in the end, looking like damn fools, honestly. So, as you know, Kenya is hosting the next tournament with Tanzania and Uganda. And one of the main stadiums that's going to be hosting in Kenya is Kasarani Stadium. So from the main page of the Kasarani Stadium. It was tweeted, "Dear Africans, next year we promise to host you inside this beautiful stadium and not inside the courtroom." I'm like, gosh, you know when a Gen Z is in charge of the social media.
Like I literally saw a tweet and it's crazy because we were speaking about branding, etc. But before even brand came to mind, I'm like, what about those people who actually bet on Senegal to win and they won? Do they have to send back that money? Or for the persons who actually bet on Morocco to win,
Do
but
they
then they
get the
lost.
money?
So
Oh,
somebody
that's
was
so
like
funny.
betting company just called me and said I have to pay back my winnings I got for Senegal winning the AFCON.
And I knew money was exchanged to influence the CAF decision when I saw they reduced the ball boy's fines. What a disgrace of an institution. I'm like, if you're gonna cheat us, at least be smart about it. Don't make it obvious that you guys are corrupt, man. Seriously. This one hurts my heart because someone is saying, surprisingly, Jamie was right. Because you know how Jamie Carragher has been like, AFCON is not a major tournament. And they keep proving him right,
Yeah,
man.
yeah, I saw that one as well. And I'm like, this is what I'm talking about, the embarrassment, because for years, CAF, AFCON fighting to sell themselves as a serious tournament. And I do believe that it has the potential to be, and things like this is just a major step back. So for example, like Morocco hosting it looked presentably, it looked great, but then
It was so good. The
10 steps
stadiums were
forward, 100 steps back.
beautiful.
It makes no sense. I mean, the last tweet that I'll share was exactly, exactly. It's like you take so many steps forward and then, because no, when you think about this AFCON, you won't think about the pros or the good sides, I guess, the great things that happen. You're just going to remember this tainted decision of, Morocco, who, again, we've
Even
been
if
saying that,
Senegal,
well,
even if,
allegedly, it's been rigged in their favor.
yeah, even if CAS overturns the decision and Senegal gets it back, it'll
Mm-hmm.
still be like, do you remember that time that CAF tried to give the trophy to Morocco? That's going to be the story of the tournament, like done and dusted.
Like literally. So I'm like, this really taints it. But like the last tweet I want to share, somebody was like, Lewis Hamilton, call, call your lawyers. We're going for your A. And I'm sorry, as a F1 fan, I found that funny.
Man, they robbed that
But yeah,
man. They robbed that man. Final
but
thoughts.
yeah, we should probably give our, yeah. I mean, you can go first, and then I'll just go.
Honestly, they've like left CAF as just they keep finding new ways to disappoint. For me, I'm trying to see the gameplay. If Morocco is the biggest footballing country in Africa in terms of development, the stadiums, they've been hosting a lot of the tournaments, they're hosting the World Cup. They might feel the need to appease them, but at what cost? I feel like the decision is very short-sighted and they need to look forward. Football is meant to be played on the pitch. A referee made the decision. If they wanted to have done this differently, like Lewis Hamilton and what happened with Max Verstappen, it's that the technical director made the decision on the final day. And so if the referee decided to call off the game once the players protested, then Morocco should have been named the rightful champions. That's the interpretation of the article that they're trying to use now. Senegal protested, they won the game, and they got fined for the protest. That is the appropriate punishment for what happened. Trying to reverse the decision is entirely disproportionate. And I feel that CAF knows that. And they're not dumb enough to know what they've done. And I think they have an idea that CAS will reverse the decision. So maybe they're playing 4D chess where they made Morocco happy because we did try and do what you wanted us to do. And when CAS reverses the decision, then Senegal is happy, but the fallout is them looking incompetent in front of the whole world. And all the hard work that they've done to put on such a great tournament in terms of, like, actually, did they put on a great tournament? There's still a lot of issues, but in terms of the rights, the media rights, so many people had their eyes on this tournament this year, and that's essentially been erased by one decision. And it's like a pile-on decisions. I'm just frustrated. As an African, I'm extremely embarrassed as well. Um, Kaf, you're doing us dirty. What I do hope is that since Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania were the next hosts, I hope we can be more gracious. Or maybe the fact that we know we're not gonna win makes it easy to do that. But yeah.
I would hope so. I would truly hope so because the last thing I saw was that of course, they're going to appeal the decision. And you really hit the nail on the head because, again, throughout this whole thing, I was just like, the Article 82 that they're trying to use to push this agenda to reverse the decision, I feel like it's heavily misapplied. And I really hope that Senegal will get the justice that they deserve. I mean, again, the protests, they were fined for it. It should have just ended. AFCON should have just ended in January. I don't know what's going on where this is being done now in March. And of course, people say, oh, courts take time to make decisions, but it didn't even need to go to court. And I get your point of them trying to appease Morocco, but what cost? Because no, you're tainting the name once again. You're tainting the tournament, and it's going to be very hard for persons to take this tournament serious going forward. And of course, my thing is that this tournament, of course, it had its flaws, but there is also beauty. And when you look back, maybe a year, 2, 10 years, 20 years from now, it's almost as if they are rewriting history. Because when you think about this specific AFCON, the first thing that's going to come to my mind is, oh yeah, the one that Senegal won, because Senegal will forever be the winner for me because the match for me ended on the pitch, not outside. You know, it's going to always replay as the one that they tried to snub them off, where they tried to steal the trophy and give it to Morocco, and that doesn't look good. So again, hopefully this is the last time we'll see anything of this sort, because for me, let's just keep football on the pitch. They were already fined for the actions off the pitch. All of this that's happening right now was really, for me, unnecessary. So no more, please.
No
I'm
more.
already
We're
looking forward
sending
to
you
the next
off.
AFCON
We
because AFCON is always good. So
Yeah, we've sent the whole organization off. Kaf, you're off after VAR review and everything else. So thank you guys for joining us on the Send Her Off podcast. If there's anything that we've said that you feel like, nah, you guys are talking, just let us know in the comments. You're allowed to send us off. It's okay. You're allowed to. And we welcome it because we can defend ourselves. So yeah, be sure to like our page on Instagram, on YouTube, on X, and you can also follow our personal pages. You can find me at Mukami Wambora.
and you can find me at Shantelle TBX. And again, guys, you can't send us off for just being women. It has to, if you're going to send us off, you have to give us a valid reason. So in the comments, you have to give us valid reasons. It's a welcome, but of course, we'll catch you in the next episode.